Around 250 years ago, our founding fathers revolted against an oppressive government, saying this: that we hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, and that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, and that to secure these rights, governments are instituted among men, deriving their just powers from the consent of the governed. At 1776, we believed that the core values upon which our country was founded, such as free speech and the right to private ownership of property, are tenets to a free society, and are under attack globally more now than at any time in the last 2 centuries.
I am Lily Tang Williams. I am running for Congress in New Hampshire City 2. People have to speak freely in order to think freely, exchange ideas, communicate with each other in order to get to the truth, and come up with solutions to the problems we face as a country. When others control your speech, they control your minds, thoughts, and keep you away from thinking the truth. The American people should not be silenced and censored. We need the representatives in Congress who will support your constitutional right to free speech. When in Congress, I will always fight for free speech and stop the government censorship.
We find the leader of that group that has vowed to shut tonight's event down, who makes a startling admission.
I don't think he should speak.
But that doesn't really comport with the First Amendment.
I don't care.
You don't care?
I don't care.
Why not?
I don't think that's a relevant document right now.
Freedom of speech is a hallmark of any free society. And yet here in the United States of America, the unimaginable is happening. Our right to free speech is facing an all-out assault. A 12-year-old boy in Colorado was removed from school for having a Gadsden flag patch on his backpack that reads, "Don't tread on me," a flag whose origins lie in the Revolutionary War as a symbol of resistance to British tyranny. A school in Indiana was blasted for telling a high school student to remove an American flag from his truck because it might be quote-unquote offensive to others. 12-year-old Liam Morrison and his family sued the town of Middleborough in Massachusetts for sending him home twice for wearing a shirt that simply said, "There are only 2 genders." A student in California is suing her school for banning her from wearing a red hat that says "Make America Great Again" on it, violating her First Amendment rights. This is happening in the United States of America today. These are just a few examples of what Ben Franklin warned against when he said, quote, "Freedom of speech is a principal pillar of a free government. When this support is taken away, the constitution of a free society is dissolved and tyranny is erected on its ruins." Our founders knew that a democratic republic requires a vibrant marketplace of ideas where freedom of speech and expression can thrive, where we can criticize our own government, exercise our free speech without fear of censorship or retaliation. Now, even though our country has wrestled with challenges to free speech for a long time, this is nothing new. Free speech today has never been more under threat. The last 4 years have shown us that there is no limit to what speech this government will attempt to censor or where it can be censored.
Man is not free unless government is limited. There's a clear cause and effect here that is as neat and predictable as a law of physics. As government expands, liberty contracts.
I have a right to work here.
He has a right.
I have a right to be here. And
You're arresting
not
him.
to tell students they need to tell puberty blockers.
You're arresting him because he won't endorse.
He has lost his privileges and it should be taken down. And the bottom line is that you can't say that you have one rule for Facebook and you have a different rule for Twitter.
I think we need to push back on this. There's no guarantee to free speech on misinformation or hate speech, and especially around our democracy.
The president's tweets and his behaviors about this are just further evidence of the fact that he uses his power in a way that is designed to beat people down instead of lift people up. Frankly, when you look at what he's been tweeting today, directed at the whistleblower, directed at so many people, I frankly think that based on this and all we've seen him do before, including attacking members of Congress, that he frankly his Twitter account should be suspended.
Now, this isn't just an American problem.
The offence of incitement to racial hatred involves publishing or distributing material which is insulting or abusive which is intended to or likely to start racial hatred. So if you retweet that, then you're republishing that, and then potentially you're committing that offence. And we do have dedicated police officers who are scouring social media. Their job is to look for this material and then follow up with identification arrests and so forth. So it's a really, really serious. People might think they're not doing anything harmful. They are, and the consequences will be visited upon them.
A central bank digital currency is the ultimate tool of control. And of course, there are other confected crises, and the government's proposed solutions, they're all designed to assert their authority and undermine your autonomy.
I think of Bitcoin the same way I think about the early internet. I think they didn't see it coming, and now it's a viable form of currency. You can actually buy things with it, and I think the government is freaking out. I think what they're going to try to do is they tried to do some shit with the internet during the Obama administration, where they were going to try to censor the internet, and it fell apart because people were furious in the uproar, and they thought the political repercussions of it were not worth it. Like the juice wasn't worth the squeeze, so they backed off of it. But I feel that there's going to come a time where some government, whether it's the United States or another government, might try it first. They're going to try to implement, I know they already do it in China, but they're going to try to implement a digital currency, a centralized digital currency that they can control.
Yeah.
What's scary about that is they could say, Khalil, we've looked at, your behavior online, and you have some marks against you.
Free speech is the bedrock of democracy. And free speech is what allows atrocities to be called out and for people to be aware of them. That's why the Germans wanted to shut down the press immediately. So anyway, I think we should do everything we can to preserve free speech. And when we lose free speech, I think we lose democracy.
Government censorship of, quote, misinformation either think that the general populace is too stupid to think for themselves, or those who are demanding the censorship have something to hide, period. The freedom of the individual is under attack. And the world is at a crisis point. It isn't a matter of right versus left, race one versus race two, or religion versus religion. It's a matter of those who would suppress and smother individual freedom versus those who will stand up for it at any cost. The values of liberty and self-determination have allowed individuals to lead the world for the last 248 years in industrial innovation, the tech revolution, space travel, medicine, science, and most recently, the decentralization of finance. At 1776, we believe that the future of financial freedom is in cryptocurrency rather than the centralized banking system, and we encourage everybody who's curious to come check out the blockchain and learn about the future of finance. We've created a token and community on the Solana chain where we welcome free thinkers, like-minded individuals, investors, and people who want to have a little fun and converse with those who may think similarly to they do. Feel free to check out our Twitter and Telegram pages, join the community, and see if we resonate with you. Our podcast is going to be filled with information about cryptocurrency, history, current events, real-life shit, and a little bit of humor and fun mixed in. So please follow, comment, etc., so that we can continue to provide you, the listeners, with the most possible value. Thank you, and welcome to the 1776 podcast. What is up, everybody? John here from the 1776 podcast. Today's episode is one that I'm excited about because this is, first of all, if you've been in crypto for a while, or you're fairly familiar with it, or you know all about it, this is probably not for you. This is an episode where we're going to talk about the things that will help people who are brand new to crypto navigate these waters safely. For those of you who that may apply to, this is something where you've heard for several years that it's dangerous and it's scary, it's a scam and all this other stuff. And you know what? It is. In a lot of ways, it is. In some ways, there are bad actors in crypto. There are people who would take your money. And there are project owners and influencers who don't always do the right thing, sort of like in real life, sort of like with the US dollar, people who would take that from you, or stocks, or whatever it may be. So you may have heard from Trump or JD Vance or Robert F. Kennedy or Tulsi Gabbard or whoever, or some of your friends, that crypto is a good place to put your money. And I believe it is. our podcast and our project are sort of based on that and based on getting away from the centralized banking system. And so it's something that we believe in at 1776. And it's something that I'm excited that you decided to take the first step to sort of listen to it and learn and sort of figure out how to navigate these waters. The one thing I will say is crypto moves fast. It moves very, very fast, way faster than what you're used to, whether it's the stock market or savings accounts or mutual funds or whatever. And in terms of investments, we measure success based on X's, based on like how many times our $100 turns into $200, or $100 turns into $1,000, or there's situations where $100 is turned into $100,000. There's also situations where $100,000 is turned into $500, and those aren't pretty. And we want to do our best to help you learn the basics and understand that there's two phrases that you're going to hear a lot. One is not financial advice, two is do your own research. And those are mentioned because people don't want to be held liable for the advice they give based on cryptocurrency. And we don't want to tell you what to do. We want to teach you how to do your own research and things to look for that are good in a project, things to look for that are not so good in a project that you may want to stay away from. We've got two people who are going to join us on this conversation who have become friends in this space. The funny thing is, from what you're used to in normal podcasts, you're used to seeing people's face and their name. Like, I'm John. Not everybody in the crypto world is going to be named John or Kevin or Bill or Sally or Tommy or Susan. There's a lot of people out there with different names because a lot of the communication is done on Twitter Spaces or X Spaces. Sorry, Elon. So these two people, that one owns a project called Goldfish on Base, and one is sort of an influencer and also someone who has a Telegram channel and runs a poker game and all this other cool stuff to bring people together. His name is Rooster Brewster. And yeah, I know that sounds funny. Like I said, you're used to John and Bill and Steve, and you're going to get, John, you get John, but you also get a goldfish and you get a rooster. So that's sort of the way things go in the crypto world. And you'll see it on Spaces. You're not going to see people's faces. You're going to see their PFPs or profile pictures, which is sort of the way it goes in crypto communication when you're on the X Space timeline. So anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed the conversation. If you have questions, please put them in the comments. And I'll tell you up front, we're not going to buy anything today. So this is not going to be, hey, this is what you should buy. This is what you shouldn't buy. We're going to talk about things like the applications that you need to download to be successful and what to look for as you are trying to find something that resonates with you that you might want to invest your money in. And we're going to talk about, red flags. We're going to talk about green flags. We're going to talk about things to look for. Certainly longevity is one of them. And we're going to try to set you up the best we can to be as successful and risk averse as you can be in the cryptocurrency world. So again, congratulations on taking the step, because I think the riskiest possible thing to do with your money is keep it somewhere where it's based on a currency that is, over the last several decades, the most inflationary thing in the world, where you may have $1,000 worth of Tesla stock that's gone up to 1,700. However, that 1,700 in spending power is worth less than it was when your stock was at 1,000. And we all know what I'm talking about as far as inflation and things like that. So anyway, so crypto is in most cases a deflationary currency, if not stagnant as far as that goes, meaning that there's not a lot of situations where the supply can be increased. Normally the supply is stagnant or deflationary, meaning it goes down. Bitcoin, for example, there's a finite supply of Bitcoin. After that finite supply is mined, which is what they call it when it shows up or whatever. After that finite supply is mined, there will never, ever, ever be another Bitcoin. It's not like the United States dollar where Congress gets happy and says, oh, let's just print $7 more trillion because Ukraine needs money and the people in California need money and everybody else needs money. whatever. That's a conversation for another day. This is all about crypto. But yeah, welcome. Congratulations on taking the step. We're going to try our best to teach you how to do your own research and things to look for, things to not look for. Again, we're not going to be buying anything today. That'll be the next one. We'll do a Crypto 102. This is Crypto 101. We're going to talk about things in terms where we're going to try to make it simple for people who have never, ever, ever done anything in the crypto world before. So if that's you, welcome. Enjoy the conversation. If that's not you, you're still welcome to enjoy the conversation. But yeah, throw the comments, subscribe, make sure that you are following the 1776 podcast. If you're interested in checking us out, seeing what we're about, joining the community, you can see the links in our bio on YouTube. You've got our Twitter link and our Telegram link. And we look forward to the conversation. So we'll catch you on the flip side. All right, everybody. Welcome to the 1776 podcast. This is John on the mic from 1776. We've got a couple friends here who are going to join us. We've got Goldfish on bass, who's the owner of another token project. And we've got Rooster, who is the owner of a project, in addition to someone who sometimes promotes other projects and works with a lot of developers in the space to make sure that they're doing the right things. And first and foremost, congratulations on your decision to start your cryptocurrency journey, and I hope that we can help you out. You've heard for years that this is somewhere where there's a lot of scams and there's a lot of bad actors and there's a lot of things to watch out for. And you know what? You're right. But there's also a lot of scams and bad actors and things to watch out for in the real world, whether it's the stock market or your banking system or the United States dollar. That might be a conversation for another day, or really anything out there. Right? Because you've got phone calls about your car's extended warranty and asking for your bank account information, and someone saying that they're a prince overseas who is asking for money forever. And while those things exist in crypto, and while crypto is not perfect, there's a lot of good people here too. And the thing that I would say is that this is somewhere that you can safely put your money if you do your own research and do it the right way, where you can see some gains that are completely unlike anything you have witnessed in the rest of finance. You can also see losses that are completely unlike anything you've witnessed in the rest of finance. And what we're here to do is make sure that you are ready to walk into the cryptocurrency trenches in a way that most of us were not. And we learned the hard way. So hopefully you can learn from our mistakes and learn from our wins, and we can help you out. Because it really is an exciting time to be alive, and it's an exciting time to look at moving your money from centralized finance to things like cryptocurrency, where you are free from a centralized banking system. Because the centralized banking system is not designed for financial independence. It is designed for you to be beholden to a bank or to a certain financial currency or whatever it may be for several years. And in crypto, you can really find that financial freedom that I think everybody really, really wants. So we're going to talk about a lot of things. We're going to talk about the apps to download. We're going to talk about things to look for in good projects, things to watch out for in not so good projects. We're going to talk about influencers, and we're going to talk about communities, and we're going to talk about where it might be a good idea to invest your money and where it might not be such a good idea to invest your money. As always, this is not financial advice. Do your own research. However, we do want you to learn from our mistakes and learn from our knowledge, because we believe that cryptocurrency is going to absolutely take off in a way it never has before. And as a project owner myself, and I can speak for two of my friends, Goldfish and Rooster, that we want you to come to a place where you feel as safe as you possibly can, and you feel like you have the knowledge to safely, securely, and in a way that's going to make you a lot of money, navigate these streets. The first thing I'll say is cryptocurrency moves a lot faster than what you're used to. So in the stock market, if you have a week where you're 3.5% up, that's a big deal. We don't talk about percentages in crypto, we talk about X's. And what an X means is if you invest $100 and then off that $100 investment, you make $1,000, that's a 10X. Those are the kind of things that we talk about, and that's how fast the money moves in this space. And we want to make sure that you're prepared for all that, in addition to being prepared for all of the things that could go wrong. Because like I said, are there bad actors in cryptocurrency? Absolutely. The people who told you it was a scam, some of it is. But we want to make sure that you're prepared for the good, the bad, and the ugly. And we want to welcome you to this space with open arms because we believe in it. We believe it is the way for finance of the future. And we believe that this is the way things are going to happen. And I would add evidence to that of if you simply look at whether you're American or not, if you look at the United States dollar and the amount of money we have printed, we are printing money like none other. The reserve of supposed gold backing that currency has not changed. It's been the same amount of gold forever. However, the amount of money printed changes every year based on whatever Congress decides. And that's a scary thing because that means every time Congress prints another $1 trillion, your dollars are worth significantly less. The dollars that you've worked hard for, that you've saved for, that you've invested in the stock market for, those dollars are worth significantly less money because we have a system where Congress can print money whenever they want to. And that is bad because that makes the money that you've saved and worked for worth significantly less. In cryptocurrency, we don't really have that problem because the tokens are the majority are deflationary, which means the supply actually goes down over time because of burns and other things. We're going to use some words that you're not used to, and I'm going to kind of interject and try to define those as we go through this because we're going to pretend that everybody listening to this has no idea what crypto is and is hearing this for the first time. But most cryptocurrency tokens are deflationary, meaning the supply goes down over time. Several are static, which means they have the same supply forever. There are a few that are inflationary, meaning they can print more tokens if they want to. Those are few and far between. But we are going to get right into this, sort of like I said in the intro. I want to shoot the mic around to Goldfish and Rooster real fast and just let them introduce themselves. We are all here to help you. One thing you'll notice is, as opposed to normal podcasts that you watch, you've got little cartoon pictures. They call those PFPs, which means profile picture. It's a little different than a normal podcast, but a lot of the cryptocurrency conversations are had on Twitter because of the free speech aspect to it. So that's something that we want to sort of get you used to because you're going to find a lot of these spaces going on and you're going to find a lot of great projects that you can find on these as you're looking where to invest your money. And so you might see people with weird names that have cartoon faces as opposed to, John sitting in front of the American flag. But that's fine. So I'll shoot it over to these guys. If each of you wants to give sort of a 30 to 60 second intro and just tell a little bit about your crypto journey, what your experience is, go for it. If you want to take longer, go for it. Because we want these people to understand that we are here to help them and that we're here for nothing but good. So, Goldfish, if you want to go first, go ahead, and then Rooster, take it.
I'll let Rooster go first. He was here before me. Go ahead, Rooster.
Yeah, I'm Rooster Brewster. Yes, I am I'm someone that's on Twitter that I advise different token projects as well as do business development for different Web3 brands. I started actually in a career in Wall Street and back in the Bitcoin mining days. I got a little bit involved in some Bitcoin miners, did a little business with them, and then I went full EVM and DeFi back in 2020, 2021-ish. I started advising for NFT projects and then to different DeFi protocols where they did a lot of trading, onboarded hedge funds, different DAO treasuries, that kind of work. And then in 2023-ish, I started moving more into Solana, launch pads, and meme tokens. And I've been advising meme tokens and other DeFi protocols ever since. I love this game. It is one of the things that it's really different. It's one of the most unique industries that are out there. I think there's a lot of opportunities, and I've never looked back ever since. And this is probably what I'm going to keep doing for the rest of my life. So I'm happy to be here, and thanks for inviting me, John.
Yeah, we're glad to have you, and I'm super excited to again for these two guys to have decided to join this conversation with us because they're both people that I've known for several months in this space. And one thing that I'll add is longevity is rare. We'll talk about that a little bit later. Longevity is rare, and that's one of the things that you need to look at in projects. Also, there are people who have good character, good intentions, and show that consistently over time. And Rooster and Goldfish are two of those people. So that's why I decided that I wanted them on the panel to have this conversation. So Goldfish, shoot.
Yeah. So Goldfish, one of the names, and John, I'm sure you'll go over this, is like you said, we have profile pictures, and we go by aliases sometime to protect our identity for certain reasons or another. So in one of the communication chats, Telegram, I actually go by first name. Just the anonymity, and that's common in this practice. But my project is Goldfish on Base. So Base is a chain, a network chain when it comes to crypto, and we've been running for 3+ months. My background is from software solution development in real life. And also a business owner, founded a business about 7 years ago. So kind of know what it takes to, embark on a journey with crypto, especially when crypto projects are run like a business. And I'm going to make a joke. I also know how to read the room. And since this is for Crypto 101, I'm not going to use fancy terms like Rooster Brewster just did and say EVM and DeFi, because you probably don't know what that is. But, to make it simple, there are different networks. We are on Base, which is actually affiliated with Coinbase, if you're familiar. That's one of the reasons why I decided to launch my project on Base. Is just because of that affiliation with Coinbase and the product and solutions that they provide. I've been in crypto since 2021. If you ever heard of Shiba Inu, I got in on that craze, that phase, and been in it ever since. There's a dichotomy of centralized and decentralized exchanges when it comes to crypto. Centralized is going to be, that more organized play with more well-established coins like Bitcoin, Ethereum, etc. And then on the decentralized, you have the unique projects like mine, like the meme coins that can, start as a decentralized and work their way up to the centralized exchanges. So I am on Base Chain. Thanks for the opportunity, John, and really interested in coming from, adding my perspective from, a normie point of view.
No, for sure. And normie, for those of you who are brand new, normie is what the cryptocurrency community calls people who have not yet dove into the depths of this wonderful, wonderful expanse of finance. To touch on some of the terms Rooster used, DeFi is decentralized finance. That's another word for cryptocurrency. It basically means a way of investing that is separate from the centralized banking system or the stock market. EVM, I have no idea what that means. That's one of those Rooster terms.
EVM, I'm sorry, I should clarify. EVM is Ethereum Virtual Machine. It is the network. It's the Ethereum network. So I should have just used the word Ethereum. It's just my fault. I will try to use simpler and more non-crypto related words when I describe this. So thank you for that reminder, Goldfish.
You're good. You're good. My job is to make sure that I can translate, and I just don't know what EVM means. I didn't know if it meant like, lizard people or what, but I'm glad that you clarified. So let's get started. Let's get right into it. So Crypto 101, right? You've got your stable coins that you've heard of, which are like Ethereum, Bitcoin, Binance Smart Chain, Solana, which are sort of the chains that everything else is built on. And then you've got your meme coins. And my guess would be that as you guys jump into, and gals, some people get upset when I refer to people as guys. I don't mean anything by it. If I see a group of people, I call them guys. But my guess would be as you guys and gals jump into the crypto world, you're not going to necessarily pick things that you like in terms of like, oh, this chart looks good, that chart looks good. You're probably going to find a lot of things that you're not going to expect that really, really, really resonate with you. Like if you're a dog person, you're going to find so many dog tokens that are tributes to certain dogs or certain cartoon dogs or certain narratives about dogs or whatever. If you're a fish person, you've got Goldfish on Base. You've got several different tokens out there that are about, different kind of pets, different kind of animals. And then you've got, PolitiFi tokens like 1776, which is, we're all about free speech. speech, individual freedoms, libertarian values, things like that. And then you've got, coins about some very different things. So you might see some things that you weren't expecting. For example, there was a token that launched not too long ago that was a baby hippopotamus. There was another one that launched a little bit before that was a chicken whose head was replaced with a fish who chain smoked cigarettes. Just to let you know, you're going to see some weird shit. And I don't know how to put it more blunt than that. But anyway, so all of these meme coins are on different chains. So some are tied to Ethereum, some are tied to Solana, some are tied to BNB, which is the Binance Smart Chain that we talked about. Then there's a couple other chains that are newer or just gaining more popularity. One that I guess isn't really newer, but it's just gaining more popularity is Tron. There's also the Ton chain, which is the Telegram's native token. There's Sui, which is a brand new one. Some of those are going to be a little bit tougher to buy. No shade to them whatsoever. But if we want to make it easy and we want to make your experience as seamless as possible, there's two applications on your phone that I would download right away. There's really four, but two of them involve buying tokens and two of them involve figuring out what tokens you want to buy. So the two that I recommend for buying tokens are going to be Coinbase. That will help you with anything that's on Ethereum or Base, which Base is, correct me if I'm saying this wrong, Goldfish, Base is like a sub-network on the Ethereum chain. So Base is tied to Ethereum, but it's not necessarily Ethereum. Is that right?
Correct. Yeah, and the terminology, they call it a layer 2 network. So that means a lot of our coins. So when you think of your analogy you gave with gold and the dollar bill, our gold is Ethereum, our dollar bill is our token projects. So our projects are paired to Ethereum.
Very cool. I said it right, sort of. So Coinbase is going to be really, really good for Ethereum tokens and Base tokens. This Phantom Wallet is going to be really good for Solana tokens. We also just received support for Base, so that's going to be helpful there. And then they do work with Ethereum tokens as well. Now, one thing is you download these wallets, you're going to see something that pops up called a seed phrase. And it's going to be like 12 to 19 words that are ordered in a certain way. And when you see those, do not take a screenshot of it and save it on your phone. Make sure that you write this down on a piece of paper and put it somewhere extremely safe, because that is going to be your way to get your wallet back if something was to happen. So like, let's say your phone got blown up in a fire and you've got that piece of paper. That means wherever you are in the world, if you have that piece of paper, you can log into a computer or a phone or an iPad, and you can still have access to your cryptocurrency wallets. It's one of those things that's just important to stay safe. So make sure that you are keeping that somewhere safe, somewhere that you're not going to lose it, and somewhere that's not going to get damaged. So that's that. So we've downloaded Phantom Wallet and Coinbase. We are now ready to buy cryptocurrency. So the first thing I want you to do now is go in and buy either Ethereum or Solana. It's up to you, whichever one you want to do. Spend, $50, $100. Note to self, never spend more than you want to lose. But you've got to buy that quote unquote native token, which is sort of the chain they're on, which is the gold, before you can trade that gold for dollar bills, which are the actual meme tokens and the actual cryptocurrencies, if that makes sense. So once you've done that, we're not going to go shopping yet. We're going to make sure that you can do your own research and figure out what you want to buy. And so there's two more apps to download. One is X or Twitter. That's what we're on right now, as you can see the screen. I know you're watching through YouTube, but we are currently having this conversation on Twitter. Twitter is an excellent platform to find new projects. And you will be able to go into spaces like this where people are talking. You'll be able to follow a lot of great people who are influencers in the space or project owners or whatever. And you'll be able to listen, because their space is running like 24 hours a day. Like if you can't sleep at 4 o'clock in the morning, you will find a cryptocurrency space where people are talking about different projects. Again, trust but verify. We'll get into that a little bit later. But you will always be able to find people talking about cryptocurrency projects that they're very passionate about. You will always be able to find people that you vibe with and who sort of suit your mentality. So Twitter's the first one I want you to download. The second one I want you to download is called Telegram. And the reason we do that is because once you hear about these amazing projects on Twitter, you go into the Telegram and you can meet the people behind the project. So Twitter is sort of where to find new stuff, and Telegram is where to go to learn about existing stuff, if that makes sense. And maybe I'm saying it wrong. I will pass around the mic to you guys, Goldfish and Rooster, and let you talk about Twitter and Telegram and all that good stuff. So whoever wants to go first.
Go ahead, Rooster. You're the master of Twitter. I'll talk about Telegram.
Okay, yeah. So yeah, Twitter is the it's kind of like the face of a project. When a project starts launching, the first thing they do is they set up a Twitter account, because Twitter is the de facto kind of town hall for all your outreach activity for a project, right? And so, as John mentioned, there are a lot of spaces where community members or even devs will get on and they'll start talking about their projects, maybe invite other projects to come on and talk about their projects too. So it's like a community town hall for crypto, and they use crypto. We call it crypto Twitter, right? CT. Now it's called crypto X. But yes, so you need your a Twitter page. That's usually where all the initiatives, all the community, happenings are all posted on the X page for a token project. And then once they are on X, they start marketing very hard. They start posting things. They start, reaching out to other projects through DMs on Twitter. So Twitter is like the face, right? And then, as John mentioned too, that most projects also have a Telegram. The Telegram is like the central hub for a community. It's where a community of a specific project can get together in a group or a channel and start talking about the community and start, organizing within there, to raid certain posts. Raiding means to to retweet, like, and comment on a post to get it more reach. It's also where, a lot of devs will have a voice chat where they can talk to their community members about initiatives that are coming up. It's just a central hub for the community to get together. And when I mean community is like members of one token. So members of one token will organize themselves in one channel or a group chat, and they'll start communicating that way. So again, Twitter is like the face for the outside world to see the project. And then Telegram is used once you become a community member, you go in there and you start talking with other community members within your token project to organize for initiatives and things like that.
Yeah, and just to add on, to what Rooster said, so he pretty much covered X, first and foremost. That's where you're going to do a lot of your marketing. That's where you're going to see a lot of marketing. And that's probably where some projects are going to catch your eye. And a lot of the profiles of token projects will say, hey, come to our Telegram group. And it'll be a link and it'll take you to Telegram. And the reason why you go to Telegram is because it's more intimate. You can ask any questions and it's more real time. It's chat, right? There's no necessarily chat function in Twitter or X, right? So you go to Telegram to ask the founder of the project or the admins of a project, hey, what are your plans? Like that's, and I'm sure John will get into this. This is where that's where you do your interrogation is in Telegram, because you get to see the community firsthand, you get to see the project leads firsthand, and you can ask all those questions to, determine whether or not it's going to be a safe investment for you. But as far as an analogy, I would say that Telegram is also it's like our place of business, right? It's our work. That's where everybody comes. They get their instructions for the day, and then we'll go out and market. We'll go out and get on engagements or spaces like this and talk. So it's definitely more akin to like our place of work. That's where you'll find all the employees. That's where you'll see part of the community. So Telegram is huge, and X, like Rooster said, is that storefront.
No, for sure. And so prior to this launching, I'm going to put out a list of people that I recommend following on X or Twitter or whatever you want to call it. I've got I'm bad at learning new things. I've always called it Twitter, so I'll probably always call it Twitter, but I guess it is X now. But what I want you guys to do is go on to X or Twitter. And like I said, I'm going to put out a list of people who I believe who are good people in the space, who are not trying to screw over their community, who are not trying to make someone else their exit liquidity, which means essentially they're not trying to cause you to buy something and then sell their bag and cause you to have a loss. So I'm going to put out a list coinciding with the release of this podcast of people who I believe are good people in the space to listen to. Goldfish and Rooster are going to be among those. But like your next piece of homework, we're still not buying anything, is to go onto X and make a list of the projects that you're interested in. You're going to hear some really cool stuff. Like you're going to hear some really, really cool ideas. And as always, trust but verify, because like I said, this space moves fast. You guys are not ready for how fast this space moves. And we're going to try our best to get you there. So after that, after you find a couple projects that you're like, you know what, this might be someone I vibe with, this might be something I'm interested in, that's when you go into the Telegram, which to what Goldfish and Rooster said is normally going to be like in the bio of that Twitter account. And then I would go into the Telegram and ask some questions. And what are, I guess, Rooster and Goldfish, what are some things that you guys would ask, and what are some red flags that you notice when you go into Telegrams?
I'll start, just with a couple, right? One, if you see a lot of hype, meaning like you see like a lot of commentary about a particular project, and maybe that's what caught your eye, and you jump into the Telegram chat and there's nobody there, that would be a red flag, meaning that the hype on the marketing side of things or on Twitter is actually fake or, malicious in some extent. So you want to jump into the Telegram and actually see that people are there first and foremost, that you see some chat history that isn't from like a few days ago. So that would be one of the first things, just make sure somebody's in there. And then when you get there, one of the first things, you want to see is just, how you're greeted, and, just say hello. And, and that's one of the first things that I would just engage is like, just say hello and see how the community is, treats you just off of you saying hello. Do they ignore you? Do they recognize you? Do they greet you? Does somebody say, hey, do you have any questions? That's all real important things. So when you jump into the Telegram, just introduce yourself. And I think first and foremost, before you even ask questions, just get a feel for the environment. And John, are we going to go over like some of the roles that people play in Telegram?
Dude, open mic, absolutely.
All right. Yeah. So remember, I had just said a couple moments ago that Telegram is kind of like their place of business, right? So in Telegram, there are different roles. So when you take a crypto project, you're going to have the founder or developer. They call him dev or she dev. They're the people that launch the project, kind of like the mouthpiece for the project. They may or may not be in the Telegram as often. Because they're usually on spaces or they're meeting with people, etc. But there is a concept of, I'm sure you may be familiar with the term moderator, right? So if you watch a debate, like you have the moderators. So in Telegram, they're called mods. So crypto projects have mods, and admins, short for administrators, are the ones that would monitor the day-to-day flow of a Telegram chat. So when you jump into the TG and you say hello, it's usually going to be a mod or an admin that says, hey, welcome. What we do is we say, welcome to the tank. That's kind of our thing because we're Goldfish. And then, our mod will say, if you have any questions, let us know. Check our website. They'll run a couple Telegram commands, which are shortcuts for information about the project. So they'll always do like a /website, which gives you website. So you can go check out our website, and feel free to ask any questions. So I think those are kind of like the initial things that you want to do is just join the Telegram, say hello, see if you're greeted, see if there's people in there, and then ask, just for basic information as far as like, the website. And I'll let Rooster and we could probably talk a little bit more some of the questions you want to ask, but I think that's what I would start with.
Yeah, to the original, to John's original question, what are some of the red flags that I look for? So when I enter a Telegram group, if I see like a huge number of members, but a very small percentage of them are online, that is a huge red flag. It means their Telegram is botted. Botted meaning there's a lot of fake bot accounts that are members to make the numbers look inflated. Right. And so that happens a lot on Telegram. It may not be the project's fault. Maybe the project was attacked by bots. That's very possible, too. But regardless, when I see like 5,000 members in a Telegram, but only 20 of them are active and online at that moment, that's a huge red flag. Right. Generally what you want to see is like for every like 1,000 members, you have like 100 to 200 people that are online and active. Right. Sometimes even more, some of the projects that I'm in, there's like 1,400 people, but 500 are online and active at that moment. So those are the types of ratios you want to see. You don't want to see like 5,000 people, but only 10 people are online. That's a huge red flag. It means it's botted. Again, it may not be the project owner's fault. It could be maybe somebody attacked them with a bot. It could be that, but still that's something that I look out for. Also too, if I just see a bunch of these like what I call botted responses, like LFG, or let's go, and it's just like the same thing over and over and over again. I just see spams of these very simple meme-ish just responses, these like 1-2 words over and over and over and over and over again. That also means that there's probably not real people, and they're probably just like some bots that are in there. And so a lot of times projects will try to inflate their own numbers to make it look like it's more popular. So those are some red flags that I look for.
No, for sure. And I'll say when you go into these telegrams, you should be able to have a conversation like you would have with your next door neighbor. Like if you say, hey, how's it going? I'm glad to be here. You should get a response somewhere along the lines of, hey, glad you're here. Do you have any questions? Welcome. If you get something that's along the lines of, let's say you go in and you ask, why should I buy this token? What's going on with this project? What are you guys up to? What are you guys all about? You should get a response that's somewhere along the lines of, here's what we believe in. Here's why we're here. Here's what we're trying to push. Here's our narrative. Because you're looking for 3 things in a project to invest in. You're looking for a community, you're looking for a narrative, and you're looking for a good team. And if one of those 3 things are missing, then the project traditionally does not do well. So the narrative is going to be like, do you resonate with this story of this cartoon dog who got rescued from a shelter? Or do you resonate with freedom of speech? Or do you resonate with the fact that a goldfish has a memory of a goldfish? You know what I mean? Something sort of funny that makes you think and also makes you feel something. That's the narrative. And then you go in and there's a team, and the team, is going to be working hard on spaces or whatever. And then there's the community, which is who you're talking to in the Telegram channel. And when you go into a Telegram channel and you say, hey, why should I buy this? And this will happen. Like, I'm not trying to put doom and gloom in anybody. This will happen at some point. Because I've done it several times. You'll go into Telegram and say, hey, what's up with this token? Why should I buy it? And the response will be, fuck you, I don't care, buy it or get out. That will happen. It does happen. And that to me is like the biggest red flag, because that's someone who's not even willing to talk to a potential investor. And at the end of the day, like, our job, in my opinion, as developers, owners, whatever, is to be custodial curators of your investment. That doesn't mean we're never going to sell. That doesn't mean that we're not here to make money too. But it does mean that you have a responsibility as a project owner to look out for your investors before you look out for yourself. And the people who say, F you, buy this or get out, that to me is like the absolute biggest red flag, but you see it more times than you would possibly imagine. So that's something that I would look at. I would also look at organic conversation. Like I said, I mean, if you can go in there and say, hey, what's everybody up to? And people are like, oh, well, I'm taking my kids out to the park, or I'm working right now, or something like that. That's a good, normal conversation. But you'll see some of these places where you'll go in and it'll be like, you'll say, hey, what are you guys up to today? Oh, when Lambo, when Moon, we're about to send. That's something I would probably look out for. Again, everybody is entitled to do their own investing. and to spend their money however they want. However, I would not buy into a project where the chat was like that. And I don't think Goldfish or Rooster would either. So that's sort of Telegram. The homework now is to go into X and Twitter and find 3 or 4 projects that you're interested in or more, and then go into Telegram and find 3 or 4 communities that you might be interested in. And then drop all of the questions in the comment section and go ahead and make sure that you follow us on YouTube and on Twitter. And then we're going to come back with Crypto 102, and we're going to address some of those conversations because we're still not ready to buy because we want to make sure that you guys are as safe as you possibly can be. Again, spend your money how you want. If you do want to buy now, buy now. I don't care. But we want to make sure that you have all of the info you possibly need. This is intentionally a 2-part podcast to where we're going to do 101 and then 102 because we want to make sure that you guys are armed with as much knowledge as we can possibly arm you with to make sure that you have a good experience in this space, because this is something that the 3 of us anyway are extremely passionate about, and it's something that we believe is here to stay. It's something that we believe is the financial wave of the future, and it's something that this is such a great space, and it's got such a bad name because there's a few bad actors, and those few bad actors we don't believe should be allowed to give the space such a bad name because there's so many good people here. Like there really, really, really are. Like I've met so many friends on my cryptocurrency journey from across the world who otherwise I wouldn't have ever known. And it's kind of cool. But it's also something where, we want more people to be able to have this experience in terms of not just making money, but also feeling good about their investments. And that's why we're here. So I'll go to closing comments, and then we will anxiously await your comments in the comment section on the YouTube. Make sure that you drop us a follow. If you do get into Twitter, make sure that you give 1776 on Soul, John from 1776, Goldfish on Base, and Rooster Brewster a follow. And we're going to talk again soon. But throw that stuff in the comment section. We will address every bit of it in Crypto 102. So closing arguments or closing thoughts. Rooster, Goldfish?
Yeah, so I'll go real quick. I know we touched on some red flags, and just to recap about the community. So when you jump into the Telegram, we didn't touch on some of the questions. So, real quick in closing, some of the things you're going to ask them is just whatever you're thinking, right? Like, what's your roadmap? What are your plans? But I think one of the big questions, and this would be a good test, and like John said, feel out the community. Even if you know the answer, ask them, how do you buy? That's one of the, a good question to ask because I've been in projects myself where like it was on a network that I didn't understand base like 5 or 6 months ago. I had no clue how to buy on base. And I asked the community, I was like, well, how do I buy? And there were people and that were, in the chat that were willing to, walk me through it. This is what you got to do. They were sending screenshots. Like that shows you, the community has a good head on them and, they're really trying to help you and they're inviting and warm. But like there's other projects, like John said, if you ask them how to buy and they tell you to Google it or something, like if they're not inviting, then I would move on. So in, getting a feel for the community is really huge. So I would say, get in there, think of it like a chat room, ask away what you want. If they have a voice chat going on, think of it like a conference call. Get in on that, listen to how people sound, and if you have a good barometer for how people, I guess feel them out through voice, definitely do that. But it's definitely a great space. But you'll hear a term, and I know it didn't come up, but it's called ape, and ape means to go all in on something without doing your own research. I don't think that this is what that video is about. This is the opposite. We're telling you to do your research, which is DYOR, and actually learn the community because like John said, you're not ready to buy. You need to fill out the communities and make sure it's the investment for you. And I appreciate the, opportunity to speak on this.
Yeah, just for my closing thoughts, just stay safe. In the end, it's all about risk management. I mean, I've always said this, for those who follow me, I always mention risk management at least once every couple days, because I think it is the most important thing. No matter what you think about a community, anything is possible in crypto. Just be very, very careful. Do your own research, like Goldfish has mentioned, but also too, no matter what, don't put your full allocation into one project, and even your allocation to one project, split up your buys, right? Dollar cost average in, because you never know. You try to always, do a lot of research and by a lot of research, I mean, don't just like talk to somebody for 5 minutes and make a decision. Stick with them, look at their past, look through their posts, look through previous projects that they've been involved in. If you see that they have been in several projects in the past where they've been blamed for, making a project fail, maybe it's not a good idea to be in that next project of theirs. And so, it does take an extensive amount of research to really, be confident in a project, but even still exercise some sound risk management. Don't put your full allocation into one project, diversify into many different projects. And again, don't be full clipping. Don't just buy that full allocation in one transaction, dollar cost average in, because you never know. Nobody can tell the future. Nobody's got a crystal ball to this, and so just exercise some sound, common sense and some sound risk management. And John, yes, thank you for giving us the opportunity to speak on your podcast. I'm really interested to see how this grows into the future.
Dude, for sure. Thank you guys so much for joining. I'm excited about Crypto 102, but I just want everyone to kind of be given the ground rules to start with and go out there and sort of explore a little bit. And then for 102, we're going to get a lot more in depth in some things. We're going to talk about something called KOLs, which a lot of you have not heard of. We're going to talk about some of the stuff Rooster just said as far as exploring track records of people who are involved in projects or who are promoting projects. And we're going to make sure that everybody has all of the ammo they need to stay safe and stay profitable, most importantly, in the crypto trenches. So thank you guys all for joining us. I'm going to sign off. John is out, and everybody have a fantastic night. Thank you so much. Bye. All right, everybody. Hope you enjoyed that. We talked about some cool stuff. And again, we're not buying anything today. So the homework for everybody who is interested in coming back for Crypto 102 is to use that knowledge, go into Twitter, go into Telegrams, all that stuff. Find 5 or 6 projects that you're interested in. If you have questions, feel free to post comments. Make sure that you follow, subscribe, all that stuff. And then if you want to find out what we're about, join our Twitter, join our Telegram. The link's in the bio. And we look forward to talking further. We will look at those 5 or 6 projects and we'll figure out, which ones look good, which ones don't. We'll tell you some more stuff to look for. And again, congratulations on at least looking into starting your crypto journey. We obviously believe that this is the wave of the future as far as finance goes, and we're excited to have you join us. So welcome, and post your questions in the comments and look forward to talking again soon. Thanks so much for tuning in. See ya.